working. There we go. We're on. Hi, everybody. Excellent. Just making sure Twitch is working. It's sending out. Pile on in. Get your questions ready. We're going to have a chat. Now, I've got a slightly different setup with this today. So I need to figure out how I can get all of my chats. Let me see. Can I go into... no, I can't go into it here. Dashboard. Well, don't have to worry about that. What I'll do is I'll just get rid of this. Sorry, everybody, just getting set up. And I'll put this over here. And I'll get Twitch up. I'll have to do this manually, so I might be a little bit all over the shop. Just mute that. And there we go. Cool. All right. This like that. This like that. Perfect. Welcome, everybody. So what we're doing today with this little stream, is going to be a bit of fun, is we're going to be watching the end of the auction. So you can see it ends in 45 minutes. So I'm starting a bit early. I've got a bit of time still before that happens, but that's okay, because I want to start this off as kind of a little bit of a tutorial on how to do this kind of thing if you're doing it yourself or thinking about doing it. And so I'm going to do some of my social media stuff that I would normally do for this and get that sorted. So now I'm just making sure I've got all my different chats set up correctly. I might move. Oh, it's like, let me move that. Can I pop this out? No. Okay, never mind. Also, how's the connection? Does it look good? I don't have the normal setup, so I'm just a bit disoriented. Don't know how the quality is going, but I've got all my chats up and stuff, so I can see everybody's doing. So anyways, hey 4K, welcome. Hi Phil, welcome. Chris Lopez, Landfear, White Rooster. Good to see everybody. Thanks to have you. All right, so wow, a Predator toy from the Easter Bunny. I love that. That's like, that's fantastic. Good. All right, great. Good connection. Hi, Johnny. Welcome. Good to have you. Thanks for coming. All right, so let me just set expectations real quick for everybody. First of all, I'm not doing this live stream to hype you guys up to buy these things, okay? Collectors, NFT collectors, they're kind of their own thing, right? It's a whole world. I don't even understand it. I'm not collecting any NFTs. I don't have any NFTs. I'm not buying NFTs. I'm just experimenting by making them myself and seeing what happens. But the people who are buying these are speculators and collectors. So they're people that either A, are trying to make money by buying art cheap and then trying to resell it at a higher price, or they're people that are less interested in that and they're really excited about the technology and they want to collect this stuff for themselves. They buy these things and they have collections they hold on to for a long period of time. Maybe they'll sell one day down the road. But so the idea behind this stream is not to hype up my YouTube audience to go buy these things, because I don't really feel like my YouTube audience is the people that are going to be buying these things. It's sort of a different crowd. So what I'm going to do first, because the auction ends in about 40 minutes, I'm kind of waiting a little bit. But we're going to do a little bit of a social media blitz. I'll show you kind of the basic ways to get in front of these collectors, so the people that are actually looking to buy this kind of stuff, or at least what I've learned so far. This is not by any means a comprehensive tutorial on this subject. This is just a kind of an intro to some of what I've learned. Maybe that's a good way to say it. So anyways, let me know if anything happens with the stream through this stream. If you ever have any errors or if I freeze or something goes wrong. I don't have the same quality assurance systems running. So I'm not as across what's happening with the actual stream. So just shout out in chat. We're going out on Twitch and YouTube. So we're in both places right now. So we've got 2 people on YouTube. Hi. Or on Twitch, I mean. Good to have you. Got 9 people on YouTube. So feel free to ask questions in chat. Once I get done with this little social media blitz and we finish talking about this initial stuff, we get closer to the actual auction ending. We'll also do a bit of Q&A if we run out of things, if I run out of things to talk about. So have some questions ready. We can talk about anything. We don't have to talk about NFTs, but there are some topics I kind of wanted to share a little bit about what I've learned about this so far. So anyways, cool. All right. So now, first off, let's go ahead and do the social media blitz and talk about what you think about whenever you're doing auction for anything, right? And this works as well for like crowdsourcing, right? So if you ever run like a Kickstarter campaign, you get, so on Kickstarter or any crowdsourcing or crowdfunding platform, you get all of your money at the very beginning when you first launch your campaign. People get excited about it, they jump on board right away. Then you get like literally nothing through the entire campaign until like the final 24 hours. And that's when all the rest of the commitments come through and you reach your target or you don't. Now the reason for that is it's about sort of the hype cycle and the interest in something when you're kind of in the middle of a long period. Like if you had like this auction, for example, I set this auction up last week. I normally wouldn't do an auction this long. I normally do an auction that would be really short. And that's because that middle time is sort of wasted. It's not really used. And if it's a short auction, then you capitalize on the interest when you first drop it and the fact that you're really close as well to the ending. And then you get that interest as well. So there's these 2 spikes of interest. One thing I've been experimenting with this is the views. Because you can see here, we got 215 views on the Leap and 237 views on Beginnings. And so the different view counts, they kind of help a bit when people look at it because they see there's a bit of interest. So that was one of my theories I was kind of testing out with this. But again, I'm not really sure exactly. So we'll talk about that, I guess, as we figure some of these things out. So then the next thing, so what to think about with this auction, for example, is that if there is going to be any kind of bidding or any kind of back and forth or any real interest, I wouldn't really expect it until like the final 10 minutes. So the final 5 minutes, that's when you really tend to see the interest come in because people bump it. Now with an auction like this, what's interesting is that when you get down to the final like 5 minutes, I think if someone puts a bid in the final 5 minutes, it will extend the auction by 5 more minutes. So it will continue to extend until people stop bidding. And the theory is that that's how you can discover the value of something because you kind of see what are people willing to pay for when there's a bit of competition to get something. How far are people willing to go? So it kind of all depends on the buyers in the room and what's going on with that. But anyways, so that's what you can expect for this today is like when we get down to the final few minutes, that's when we'll see something happen. I'm actually kind of surprised that we already have some bids, especially this one with 2 bids already. I wasn't expecting that. I was kind of expecting no bids until like the final whatever. But anyways, so Chris Lopez, appreciate that. Said you wanted to buy on the Leap, but my ETH wallet sucks. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to help you. I actually don't really understand how it all works. I had a different ETH wallet that I used, and it wasn't compatible either. But I found out that I could link it with MetaMask using the key. So there might be a way for you to link your other wallet with MetaMask, and then you've got access to all your funds in it. So that's kind of how I did it to work. But again, just if you're joining us now, so the idea is not to hype all you guys up to buy this stuff. This is just for us to look at it and talk about and learn from it. Really, these things are for NFT collectors, which is a group of people that have a different understanding of the landscape and what's going on with that. So let's do that. I'll show you what I would do at this point. So we're down to 38 minutes. So I'll go ahead and start composing some stuff. Let me get, first up, I'll pull up, where is it? Here it is. All right, I'll get Twitter up. So Twitter's been one of the main ways I've been posting stuff. So, because I find that the hashtags on Twitter are well searched in terms of people finding and discovering stuff. And that's the idea. We got to get it in front of the right people. So NFT collectors. So let's go ahead and I will quickly just grab these links, paste them in, copy and copy. All right. So And again, if you find this boring, don't worry, we'll chat about stuff. All right, so let's see. Final 30 minutes. Minutes helps if you spell correctly. Final 30 minutes. Let's see. Beginnings, one of ones. That means it's an addition of one, so there's no other copies of it. It's just one. And the leap, one of one. Auction ends in 30 minutes. Bid's already on the table. I don't know if that's an official term. Sounds official to me. Why not? Let's do it. And let's put some hashtags in. We're going to go for, so I would always tweet out NFT artists or NFT art. Hashtag NFT collector. Hashtag NFT artists. Hashtag crypto art. And there we go. And maybe crypto artists as well, maybe. Artists. And then I wonder if there's any other NFT auction, maybe? No. That's good enough. And I'll do an @OpenSea, which is the name of the platform I'm using. So there we go. Pretty good. I'm going to copy this. So Command All, copy. Maybe, hey, why not? Let's do an emoji for fun. My favorite, the little party emoji. Pretty. Oh, it's pink. That's cool. All right. There we go. Cool. So we'll tweet that out. Just make sure. Let's see. Got some good questions coming in. I'll answer these in a minute. That's pretty good. Those are sort of the standards. The main ones like NFT art, NFT collector. Those are the ones that people tend to tweet about. So anyways, I'll copy all that so we can reuse it. So tweet, ta-da, and it's out. And I'm going to like my own tweet because that's essential. Always like your own stuff because no one else is going to. I've got a very small, I've got 250 people following me on Twitter. So the main exposure is for people searching this tag NFT art. So anyways, all right, let's get rid of that. Now, next thing we want to do is, actually, this is a cool tip that I learned, and that's to jump into the Discords. So here's Discord, and I'm going to go into the Rarible Discord. So Rarible is one of the markets. I'm not selling on Rarible, I'm selling on OpenSea, but they've got this external promotions section. So you can just join these. So I'm going to pop in here, and I'll paste my thing in that. Bam. Because evidently a lot of collectors browse these as well. So that's another way to get it out there. So what else do we need? Just make sure there's no other good spots. It's a little confusing on Rarible. They've got them like all over the place, but Maker's Place we can't do anything with. They've locked them out. But NFT, the NFT community, we can post here. So selling and buying tab. I'm going to come down here. Paste. Boom. And I think that's it. There's also good resources like how to market, how to create, all that jazz. So, all right. Now, next thing, clean NFTs. I'm going to talk about this. And then OpenSea, we're going to post in OpenSea. So self-promotion, I'm pretty sure is the best spot for this. Yep. Self-promotion. Let's pop one in there. Paste. There we go. Oh, another thing I like to do on Discord is just react to your own stuff. So like thumbs up and the mind explosion. You know, like somebody saw it and was like, "Oh, that's so cool." Because who actually hovers over these to see who did it? Let's go back. We'll do that on the other ones. Bam. Bam. And mind explosion. Where is it? There it is. So those are the main ones that at least I've been checking out. And I'll do on this one. Thumbs up. Mind blown. And that's it, I think. Did we do it over here as well? You can see, yep. All right, great. Let's pull that out of the way there. All right, now that's it. That's all I would do in kind of this last 30 minutes, roughly. So if there's anybody out there looking for these things right now and they're interested in it, they're going to be browsing these areas, they'll see that, and hopefully that's enough to get them involved. Chances are, if anyone's interested, they're already aware of these at this point. So the other thing is they might be browsing on like the main browser, which does show things that are about to expire, and you can like look at that. So you might get some people interested from that point. All right, let me address some of these questions. Sorry, my chat is over here, so it looks like I'm looking away from you, but I'm not. Hi everybody on Twitch, by the way. Good to see all three of you. Feel free to throw questions in chat for Twitch too. I can see you guys as well. So, all right, let me scroll back up a little bit. Yeah, so Chris Locas, yeah, check out MetaMask. That's kind of the platform. That's like one of the main things. But I think generally speaking, you can pretty much use any Ethereum wallet through any of the wallets they do have support for. It's a little tricky. All of this stuff is tricky. All right. So it's, yeah, doing my head in trying to figure it out. All right. Let's see. The Water Lettuce Society asks, when you sell an NFT, how do you turn the funds into real money? So what you do is you get the Ethereums in your Ethereum wallet, right? And then what you have to do is you have to basically then transfer the funds in that wallet to another platform where you're registered as a like you're set up as a user, that allows you to buy and sell currencies, or buy and sell cryptocurrencies. So it's a very specific kind of really regulated thing. So there's only certain places that do it. And what you want to do is you can then sell the Ethereum that you've got in your wallet for whatever currency you want. And so whatever the exchange rate is at that moment, that's the rate that you get, minus the fees. The fees are bad. The fees are really bad. Just transferring. So when I first did this, I set up a wallet, and I put, I bought it through like it was an Australian company that does currency exchange, or does cryptocurrency exchange. So I bought, for Australian dollars, I bought some Ethereum. But then that wallet wasn't a wallet that I could really trade out of. It meant that if I wanted to use it, I needed to put it in my main wallet. I don't know if this is separate for everything, but in my case, it was a separate thing. Anyways, so just transferring it from one wallet to another cost me about $60 to transfer the money that I'd put in. So it's like ridiculous. That isn't going to be around forever. Like, they're working on changing that. That's the gas fee issue you might see people talking about, and it has to do with the way cryptocurrencies are set up at the moment. So, but anyways, bear in mind there's lots of fees. So to mint these, for example, so I brought them. So I made these here on OpenSea. When I created my account, I had to verify the account. So I had to actually do a transaction. It's not actually, you're not actually buying anything or doing anything. You're just kind of like doing an Ethereum transaction, and that registers you as a valid user, right? And that transaction cost, I think it was about $60 as well in transaction fees just to set up the account. Then when I made these, it didn't cost anything, because they're working on improving the way that works. So they're getting it to the point where they're not actually using Ethereum, but they're using it's like a different layer that you can do free transactions without any gas fees. But anyways, it's beyond me still. I don't understand that part. But basically, I could create these for free, and it only cost me money when I wanted to list them. So when I set this auction up, I paid about $11 in fees for both of these, so about $22 Australian dollars. So it'd be less if you're in America, way less if you're in Europe. Yeah, so that's kind of the cost. So I've had a bit of out of pocket, mostly because of like errors, like transferring money to wallets and not understanding that if I just bought the currency in the wallet in the first place that I was going to use, it would have been cheaper. So yeah, it's a real problem. And the gas fees come from the amount of people using Ethereum. And there's a lot of people using it. The more people that use it, the more those gas fees are going to go up, the more those transaction fees are going to go up. So it's not practical. It's not like using your MasterCard or something. But they are changing the model. Well, they talk about that they're going to change the model. No one knows exactly when or if that will really ever happen. But there are several coins that are now coming out that have a different model. So there's two models. So if you think about it, you've got proof of stake and proof of work. That's the thing that you got to look up if you want to try and understand this. Now, the proof of work means it's basically leads to very expensive transactions in Ethereum's case, because it's sort of this brute force approach to processing the transactions. Right? It's too complicated for me to explain here, but the proof of stake, on the other hand, is a different method of doing it, where there's not the same kind of, the competition's changed so that you don't have to have all this computing power to do it. Right now, you got to have like tons of GPUs, and you got to be mining with a ton of GPUs in order to participate in this, and like writing new entries in the ledgers. But this proof of stake method is very different. Doesn't require all that GPU overhead to do it. So it de-incentivizes the idea of like having a lot of GPUs that use a lot of power. That's how I understand it so far. It's a very different setup. But sorry, that was a bit of a ramble. Let me get back to the questions. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, White Rooster. Think of crypto as a foreign currency. Same thing if you use a currency exchange to buy it. Most of these wallets allow you to buy Ethereum in whatever your currency is, like natively into it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. White Rooster's just explaining it in YouTube pretty well. So yeah. So to get these things up here, I've spent a fair amount of my own money. Now that brings up one of the arguments against NFTs, right? So there's one of the arguments that people are putting out against it are that it's a pyramid scheme, right? And a pyramid scheme is, when you in order to make money, you need to have more people to buy into the thing, right? So it's a bad explanation, but like if I'm selling something and I get someone else to come on board to start selling that thing too, and I get a cut of everything they sell. That means the more people I get to participate, the more money I'm making. But what you do then is, like in pyramid schemes, the product itself, like the people at that first level don't actually make money. They might even be out of pocket. So they're actually spending more money to participate, to try and sell this thing, with the hope that they'll be able to get more people involved so they can make money. So the idea is you don't make money until you get more people involved in it. You're losing money. And that's a pyramid scheme. So the people at the bottom are losing money. They're basically funding everybody above them. And the person at the top is making a ton of money. So NFTs aren't like that. So they're not actually technically a pyramid scheme. I think people are making that analogy because they're trying to express the fact that, in order for me to make these two NFTs, I had to spend a fair amount of money. That was that $60 setup fee, and then like the 22. So what is it? It's like 88, let's say 90 Australian dollars is the amount of money I had to spend to actually get this set up. Now I won't have to spend that every time I make an NFT. It's just like $11 to do that now for me, from here on out. But initial startup cost was about $90. So the idea there is, okay, that's, if I was in a vulnerable position and I'm trying to take advantage of this, that's a lot of money out of my pocket. And now I've given that money to the Ethereum network, let's say. So that's in fees and stuff. So miners have made money off of me trying to get involved. And then if no one ever buys my stuff, I never make anything. I keep minting art, right? I keep spending money to do it. I'm not getting anywhere until people start buying my stuff. So it's not a pyramid scheme. So I don't make more money if more people join, OpenSea and start selling stuff, right? That doesn't affect me at all. I only make money if people buy my art. So it's not a pyramid scheme, but it is something that you have to consider, that it's expensive to get involved in, and you got to be prepared for that. So anyways, let me know if you got any other questions. We don't have to talk about NFTs and cryptocurrency, by the way, too, because I'm not an expert at all. So I'm just kind of hanging out with you guys. We could do some Q&A about other stuff too. So feel free to put other questions in chat. Anything you're interested in, we can talk about. So then the other thing to think about with all this, oh yeah, that's right. So the other argument, and this is why I wanted to talk about this, was the environmental impact. So we talked about it a little bit in the stream this morning. So in a nutshell, there's a lot of people that are upset about NFTs and cryptocurrency in general, because at the moment, in order to mine these, and by mining I mean write each transaction in the universal ledger. So if you don't know how blockchain works, let's take a step back. The basic sort of super simplified version of the explanation is that imagine a spreadsheet on like 100,000 different computers, and it's not 100,000 computers like at a headquarters of a company somewhere, but individual people all over the place have all these computers, and there's a spreadsheet on all of them, and it's exactly the same. So that's called the ledger. The ledger is the same on all these computers. And whenever someone wants to buy, say someone wants to buy one of these pieces, right? There's a entry in this ledger that's duplicated across all these machines that says the leap 1 of 1, and it's got the data associated with this image, and it's proof that this thing exists right in the ledger. Now, if someone wants to buy it, then a signal goes out that says, hey, there's a transaction that needs to be processed. This person over here with this address wants to purchase the thing from this line in the entry. So the ownership needs to change on that. And it goes into this pool. And then all these computers out there have the opportunity to take that entry and enter it into this ledger that's then entered into all the ledgers across all these hundreds of thousands of computers. So again, everything stays the same. And it happens at one entry at a time. And so the people that are writing those entries in from that pool, those are the miners. And so they're using their GPUs to process all these transactions and compete to write them in the ledger. And whoever wins that competition, so with Bitcoin, it's a cryptographic puzzle that has to be executed over and over and over again, 100,000 times until it finds the right combination that says, oh, cool, this is the right way to insert the ledger. So really only one person gets that at a time, and that allows that person to write the next entry into all of those ledgers, and they get the fee for that transaction. So that's kind of, I mean, I'm probably getting little bits of that wrong, but that's the gist of it. You can understand it if you think about it as that spreadsheet across all these machines, and why it takes a lot of power, because in order to compete in that and get to be the person to write it in the ledger, you got to throw a lot of GPU power behind it. So you got to get a lot of electricity involved to run a bunch of GPUs to be able to solve it fastest, so that you can be the one to write the thing in the ledger, and it's creating this environment where these miners are using more and more and more electricity, which of course creates more and more greenhouse gases. Now, if you compare the greenhouse gases, there was a couple of scientific papers. I'll link them eventually. I did in one of my comment posts. But if you look at the amount of power that's being generated by cryptocurrency or being used by cryptocurrency, the greenhouse gas effect of cryptocurrency, let's say, it's like this tiny sliver on the pie chart of all the other industries and things that are going on in the world in terms of environmental impact. That just puts it in context. It doesn't excuse it. I think it's a really bad idea to go, oh, well, it's a tiny sliver, so it doesn't matter. It's okay for us to do this. That's like, if your neighbor is like burning rubbish in their backyard every day, and you're like, well, at least I'm not burning rubbish. I can do this thing. It's not as bad. It's like, well, actually, no, I think, we should still criticize even the tiniest sliver. And that's what's happening when people are criticizing NFTs as being environmentally unfriendly. Now, it's not because of the NFT. So this NFT right here hasn't, doesn't have this huge carbon footprint, right? The carbon footprint comes when there's a transaction. So when someone buys this, or when I put this up for auction, so it had to be written in the ledger. That's when somebody's GPU used a tiny bit of power to write this thing in the ledger. Or in the case of Bitcoin, somebody's GPU used a lot of power to compete to get to write it in the ledger. Actually, it might be the same for Ethereum too. But anyways, that's when the environmental impact happens. And the argument is, if you're involved in NFTs, then you're supporting that world. And if you're supporting that world, then you're encouraging more people to get involved. And the more people get involved, the more power is going to be used, and the greater the negative impact, which is a perfectly valid argument. I think that people that are criticizing the environmental part of the NFT, it's a really valid concern, and it's something that people really need to think about. So the things that I've learned in looking into that are, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. So there's one called Tezos, for example, that I'm just starting to learn about. And it's an example of a cryptocurrency that is not using this model of GPUs consuming lots of power to compete to get to write the next line in the ledger. It's a different setup where it's like, it's complicated. I don't fully understand it, but it's not a competition-based thing. It's what they call proof of stake, right? And you basically, it's like you put a bit of skin in the game. You put some of your own money in, and you say, okay, here's some of my money. So this is how much I believe in this network, and this money is on the table. I'm putting this here to say, I'd like to have the opportunity to write in the ledger. And then it randomly picks from all the people that have staked. And every now and then you get picked, and then you get to write the ledger. That's sort of, I think, how it works. Anyway, so that process doesn't require hundreds of GPUs competing to be the best, right? So it's a very different power thing. Now Ethereum is moving towards that. So they've got a thing called Ethereum 2, which the idea with Ethereum 2 is that it's going to be a proof of stake model. So when that happens, like OpenSea and all these other platforms that are using Ethereum, I'm pretty sure that's all just going to kind of migrate over to that new system, and the power consumption is going to be like nothing. And that would be a great thing to have happen, because that means like the carbon footprint of NFTs would, like disappear overnight. Probably not disappear. I'm just saying stuff. This is the internet. I'm not a scientist. I should validate what I'm talking about, but it would go down significantly. I could say that much. That's a good thing to say. But in the meantime, there are other coins that are actually really like low footprint in terms of their carbon output, right? So there's a cool group. I'll pull it up. Cool little Discord group I'll give a shout out to, called Clean NFTs, that I found. I was looking around, and they got a ton of stuff, like really cool information. And let me show you. Where's the spreadsheet? Okay, so this guy here's so the Bad Lament put together this spreadsheet. This is a public spreadsheet you can get a hold of, and in it is all like a perfectly up to date, like, well, not perfectly, but a really well maintained list of all the different cryptocurrencies that you can mint an NFT on that are proof of stake. So that's what this POS means. POS is proof of stake. So when you see POS, think it doesn't use a lot of electricity to process. If you see POW, proof of work, all these under the red section, these are all the ones that are using a lot of electricity to, well, the actual NFTs aren't, but the blockchain that it's using. So Ethereum, for example, overall Ethereum is an expensive, high energy use cryptocurrency. So this is really great. And these are all the different like platforms that are doing NFTs. Like there's a ton of them here. So let me, I'll drop this in chat. Paste. There you go, YouTube, and here you go, Twitch. So that's the stock to the clean NFTs. So Tezos right over here at the top. There's a couple of cool ones like Clement. I've heard good things about. A lot of these I haven't heard about, only because I haven't been involved long enough. Where are some of these other ones? Mintable. Heard a bit about. It's worth checking out. Anyways, lots of stuff, lots of info. So if you're interested in this, but you are really concerned about this environmental issue, that's the way to go. Let me also send the. Let me link you the. Let's see. Copy. Did I get the right? Here's the Discord. It's the Clean NFTs Discord, if you guys want. So worth checking out. All right. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Hi, Staka. Welcome. Ivalomati. Thank you. So glad you discovered my stuff. That's really cool. You've been binging all the tutorials. Love the Galaxy video. Oh, good. Glad you liked it. I frustrated a lot of people with that Galaxy video. I think I cut out one important thing when I was doing the edit, and it's just gone off the wall. But anyway, so I'm going to keep learning about this stuff, learning what this whole clean NFT thing is and how it works. And I'll try and compile it. I'm hoping to compile it in some info for everybody. So yeah, let me just refresh through these. I don't think we've gotten anything else. I'm pretty sure they refresh live on their own. Yeah, they should be refreshing live. So this is Australian dollars, by the way. So this is 42.11. That's actually it might not be. That might be US. I have no idea. It's the worst part about living in a country outside of America. Whenever you see that dollar sign, it's like, okay, but which dollar is it? I never know. You're trying to buy something, it's like $20, and you're like, is it really $20 or is it $28? It's usually 28. All right, we got 14 minutes. 12 on this one. This one will go first. Tricky. Cool. Any other questions? Anybody's got any questions in chat? Throw them in. I just 3D things. Welcome. Let's see. Ostaka has another question. So there's another issue I've just briefly heard about, and that is NFTs being used for trading illegal stuff. Oh yeah, totally. Yes, that's definitely happening. It's got well. Okay, hang on. Sorry, that was I'm mansplaining. That's when you way too much confidence with something I have no idea about. I have no idea about this. But it makes sense to me that people would be using it as a black market thing. But I've got no idea what kind of regulations are in place now. Governments are doing this. But it's the same, I would imagine, as like a Swiss bank account. Money can be laundered in any form. I mean, it's laundered all the time in normal art markets. So, a piece of art goes up at Christie's or whatever, somebody buys it for a huge amount of money. Like I really don't understand how it works, but so yeah, I'm aware that it's going. I don't feel like by participating in NFTs, I'm empowering black market stuff because that's going to happen anywhere. Like they know how to do this stuff and they're going to figure out how to do it with anything. So, um, but it's something to be aware of, definitely. So yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. I don't know if we'll see any more action. This is might be the it. We're not going to hit the reserve price. I don't think everybody can see this when you're bidding, but it says the reserve price is 1 Ethereum. We're definitely not going to hit 1 Ethereum. I think that's like $2,500. It's only because OpenSea it wouldn't let me set a smaller reserve, but it doesn't matter because I can accept whatever the highest bid ends up being. So that's a good question, actually. If you are thinking about getting into this too, how much is something worth? Well, I don't really know. For these two, I don't really know, and that's kind of why I wanted to put them up for auction because I thought, that's the best way to figure out what they're worth. Is anyone even going to bid on these? Like someone, you don't know. I've got so to put it in context, like, I have 13,000 YouTube subscribers. So, if you're just starting out and you got like 100 YouTube subscribers or something, that sounds like a huge number. But put it in the context of YouTube. 13,000 is a very, 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 very small channel. So I've got a really small social media footprint. Like the other thing is like Twitter or like Instagram. Like I've got like 300 followers on Instagram, maybe. Like, and I know that's a lot for some people, but like in the context of Instagram, like that's microscopic. It's sort of like, you know, uh, you don't really even get to participate in most like, you know, uh, social media type things unless you've got at least like 500,000 or 100,000 subscribers. But I think that it's really interesting to think about that. So I've got a really small audience. The only thing that audience has helped me to do in a sense is drive up this little view counter, which might be contributing to what people are willing to put forward. That could be affecting things. But my hunch is it's actually really just based on the quality of the work itself and people checking out the stuff through these channels that I just did when I did my social media posts. So people that are hunting these things down, they're looking for a bargain. People are scrolling through OpenSea to find a bargain, and they're seeing my stuff and going, "Oh, cool, I'll put a bid on that." So I'm pretty sure that's where the discovery comes from. I could be wrong, but that's all. I don't really have any analytics on how this works. But I think that for you guys out there thinking about doing this, if you put something out here and post about it with the right hashtags, like on Twitter, so people can find it if they're searching for it. You go to the right Discords and you drop links. Don't spam it every day, but just kind of like what I did was I put out a shout out when I posted the auction. I put out one before the auction to kind of say, hey, I'm going to do this. And then I did one when I started the auction. Then I posted one like yesterday saying there's 1 day left. And then I posted one 30 minutes before the auction ends. So that's it. And I think that's I think that's a good amount of things to do. You could do more, but I think that's a great start. And anyone could do that. And I think that's where the discoverability comes from. So in order to determine the price, doing an auction like this is a really good thing. Now, for me, like what these things are worth, like I personally feel like this one, for example, I think it's worth way more than $42. Like it took me a long time to make this. And like if this was a contract where I was being paid for a client to go make something and I looked at it, in terms of the hourly rate I would charge much more for this. But I also recognize that that's not what this is. No one's hired me to make this. So it's a different economy. It's not really about what's the value of my time. It's sort of like what's the value of this individual piece. And that has a lot to do with whether or not people think that this thing has any value. And that's a very mysterious kind of ephemeral thing. So really hard to pin down, but doing an auction is a great way to figure that out, as opposed to just picking a price and putting it up for that price. An auction helps it, gain. Another interesting thing about NFTs and anything on the blockchain is that these offers that we got, say we just got another offer, there we go. These offers, they are like written in the history of these NFTs. So if I come down here, right? So the event, we've got 3 bids now on this one. That will live there forever on this NFT. So now when someone goes and looks it up, they're going to go, oh, cool, look, this actually got a bit of interest. Maybe it's worth something. If people are like trying to make money off this, that's what they're looking for. If someone's just an art collector, they're just going to look at this and go, I like it. It's cool. I want this. So different motivations for different people. So let's see. Osaka's asked, is anyone in chat bidding? Do we know for sure? I was saying earlier, Osaka, I don't know if you heard of it. I'm not expecting that. And actually, a good thing to say again is that the motivation of this live stream is not to try and get people to buy this stuff, because I really do think that the people that are buying these things, they're different. They're collectors and they're looking for this stuff, and it's sort of it's a whole different world. I don't really know much about that world. I'm not collecting NFTs, so I'm not speculating on them trying to make money, because I'm not in that zone. I don't know that stuff. I'm not, I'm just not educated around it. So that'd be a great way for me to lose a lot of money. Yeah. So, okay. The Water Lettuce Society says, if I sell an NFT, do I still own the rights to the image? Yes, you do. So think about it this way. You know, when a photographer, new bit on beginning slide for you, right? When a photographer makes a photograph, right? Famous photographer takes a photograph. They print that photograph. They make 10 prints, let's say. They sign those 10 prints. And then they sell them at a really high price. These are the original 10, right? But then you might also be at the museum gift shop and they'll have a poster of that same image, right? If I buy the poster, the artist is going to get a cut of that sale. If I buy the actual piece of art, then that piece of art's that money's going to go to the artist as well, right? And that artist can put that image on their website. They can decide, hey, we're going to make a t-shirt with that image on it, or I'm going to do, so they still own the rights to that image. But that individual, that piece, that copy of the art is owned by whoever buys it. So that's kind of how it works. There's probably a lot of like legal stuff that hasn't been fully defined yet around this. So, it could be that, it's different. I don't know. It could be different in the future when they kind of work this stuff out. But so these two are like one of ones. Like this is the only, I can continue to like save this JPEG and share it around or whatever, but these things are the only official blockchain copies of this art. And I'm not going to make another one ever again. Like it's just the zip. So if my value as an artist, so if I do work and it continues to grow in value, these two pieces are going to grow in value with that. That's the theory. So let me show you the audio. Don't know if you can actually hear the audio on these. Can you hear that audio? Let me know. Can you hear that? See you 4K. Thanks for joining. Actually, I could determine if you hear it. No, you don't. Okay, here we go. This is the audio. Quite peaceful. It's pretty nice. And then the other one, so make sure I don't miss it. We got 3 minutes left there. This is what the other one sounds like. Pretty cool. I like this one the best. This is my favorite. This was cool, but that's my favorite. So, all right. So we're down to 3 minutes. 3 minutes on this one. Only one bid. And we've got 4 minutes on this one with 3 bids. We'll see what happens. So what was I going to say? There was a good question. Yeah. So Ostaka says that Beeple said he gets commission. That's right. So that's a cool feature of NFTs in the blockchain is it's built into it. So if either of these people who end up buying these pieces, if they go on to resell the piece, then I'll get a cut of that sale. So I'll get 10%, and for the life of it, As long as they don't, there's ways I've learned there's ways that you can like strip that data out of it somehow by transferring it between things. I don't really get it, but people aren't really doing that. It's because it's kind of like, what I mean. Shay asks why did you choose OpenSea for the release? That's a great question. I don't know. I just looked at all of them. One of the reasons was OpenSea allowed me to have it allowed me to have let's see, was it 100 megabyte was the file limit size, and I wanted them to be really nice and crisp. And I was having a really hard time compressing them down, so I looked at Rarible. I wanted to do it there, but they have a 32 megabyte limit on an NFT. So to do an animated NFT with audio and all this, it just looked really gross, and I just thought this is dumb. So I decided to stick with OpenSea. Supposedly we've got like worse discoverability on OpenSea, but I don't really know. That's just I've just heard people say that, but that's why. I might use another one for the next release. I might use a different platform experiment. I'm still looking into that. So Ostako says, "What's the resolution of the renders?" I think this one's 2000 by 2000. I could be wrong. This one's 2560 by like one something. I don't really remember. They're not huge. They're about like roughly 2K. So, all right, it's very exciting. We're down to the final minute on this one. Don't know if it's going to get any more love. So yeah, any other questions anybody's got? There are 2 viewers on Twitch. So Shay, every time you mint something, you don't have to pay a gas fee, at least on OpenSea. A lot of the other platforms are supporting it as well, which is gasless, transactions, or gasless minting. So you don't have to pay anything. I only had to pay when I put it up for auction. So I listed it. When it sort of think about it this way: when a list happens here in the actual blockchain, that's when you pay money. So in my case, I paid $11 for both of these, Australian. So yeah, I hope you find this helpful. Okay, ready? 10 seconds on this one. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I don't know what's going to happen. 2, 1. Boom. Sales over. So that may be a good update. All right, so now I've got a choice. I can accept this offer. It will expire in 7 days. I think you can withdraw the offer, so there's a chance that that could happen. Yeah, anyways, I don't know if F29 will jump back on again, because if you notice, they didn't go straight to 2. They did this 0.099 leap, so we might be looking at the end of it. But yeah, C8B86C, very, very inviting name there. There we go, 45 seconds. Yeah, any other questions? Cool, all right, there we go. So it refreshes when it ends, and then the bid stays, or the offer stays valid. Awesome, all right, cool. Now we can figure out what happens next. I'm planning on just like accepting these offers, because I'm just getting started with this, and I've got no guarantees that my work will increase in value beyond this. So. Great question, Staka. So any plans for upcoming streams and videos? So yeah, so the plan going forward from here is well, I was doing a cool stream this morning, actually, having fun, like doing some art, because we were doing this today. I was in the mood, and I'd like to finish that piece. It was a fun piece, so I'd like to do more random stuff like that. Sometimes I'm very topical in my tutorial focus, like we're gonna do procedural lava, whatever, so all right, cool, there we go, they're done. That was a lot of fun. How exciting. All right, so we ended up with 0.0209 Ethereum for this one, and 0.02 Ethereum for this one. And I'm going to honor the fact that these cats participated in the auction and jumped in, and I'm just going to go ahead and accept their offers, accept this person's offer, and wish them all the best. And maybe one day they'll be able to resell this work for something more. Who knows? So very exciting. So let's do it. Let's see what happens Actually, should I do this live? I don't know if it like shows like some super cryptic key or whatever. I'll just do one of them off camera here. And let's see. Nothing. There we go. Okay, so I'll bring it back over here. So there we go. So when I click accept, you can see we've got the fee here. OpenSea has a fee. And then there's the developer fee. That's me. So I'm getting a fee out of this as well. So I'm just losing 2.5% of the sale, basically. So, so if I click accept, actually, I'll just accept over here. Yep, got it. Oh, okay, this is interesting. So in order to, let's see, can I show you this? Just making sure there's no super secret. Like I won't show you that just in case. So I just tried to accept it, but the fee to accept this offer is was $56. So in order to accept this, I've got to pay money. I think. I don't know. Anyways, so maybe I won't accept these offers if we actually weren't enough for to cover the fee of accepting it. I'm not sure if it was saying I had to pay for it or they did. I need to research that. Anyways, that's what I was telling you. Oh, you saw it on your screen too, did you? No, okay, here it is. Sorry, I've got it. I can show you. Make sure there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing. Here we go. So there we go. So this is showing the gas fee. So 0.025. So the fee is actually higher than the purchase amount. And that's a bit crazy. So that's what I was talking about with these fees. So that fee is coming from the congestion on the network. Now, one thing to think about is like if you do something at another point, right? So like a different time of day. There's different times of day where gas prices go up and down because there's less congestion or more congestion. So that's something to really think about. And it's really it's good to kind of pick your timing well and to go, okay, this time of day is going to be the cheapest time. I'll do it then, but it's still not going to be very cheap. Like again, I'm pretty sure that's showing you in Australian dollars, so convert that to your own currency. So yeah, for science. Huh. Anyways, so I'll research that more. I'll learn a bit more about it, but it's pretty nuts. But anyways, that was exciting. That was fun to watch. It was neat to see. I was glad we had a little bit of action. That's kind of cool to see some people going back and forth on it. And at least now you've been able to see the process and what it looks like. And hopefully, I guess some of the stuff I've talked about, like with the risks involved, not the risks, but just the pros and cons, the different arguments against it, people are saying and thinking about, have been helpful for you. I hope that you've been able to kind of process this a little bit for yourself. Yeah, so see, we've got a few other questions. Ostaka asked, when do they expire? So they expire in 7 days is the expiry on these offers. So, but maybe that's a good idea. Like you can set like when you do have an auction, you can set a minimum bid. And if you set it maybe to at least whatever the fee would be, that could be good. So maybe a minimum bid of like 0.2 or 0.3, because then you're always going to be over whatever the fee is. But still, it's like, is that worth it? I don't really know if it's worth it. Lots of things to think about. Alrighty. Thanks everybody for joining. Hope you had fun. Hope you learned a few things. Feel free to throw me any questions you've got in the comments. And please don't post any hate comments. I know this is, controversial stuff at the moment, but I'm learning and we're all learning, and hopefully we'll be able to figure out how to do this well as things go forward. So check out some of those things I talked about, like the Clean NFTs Discord and the cool resources they've got. And yeah, I hope you that you keep learning stuff too. Feel free to share any resources that you find with me as well as you make your own journey about this. And I promise not to, I'm not going to be filling my YouTube channel with NFT stuff from now on, by the way. It's going to be the same old thing, but this is kind of a new thing for me. I wanted to highlight it a bit and go through it with you guys. So I hope you had fun with that. Well, I will catch you guys in the next live stream, so stay tuned. I was saying this morning, my whole family's been really sick, so that's what's been going on there. That hasn't been a lot of fun, but we're finally getting better. Everybody's getting healthy again slowly, so hopefully I'll be back into the swing of doing streams again soon. So thanks, everybody. I will catch you later. Adios. Bye. Sorry. Bye. How do I stop?